everybody today. How about this weather, huh? I'm loving it, loving it. How is everybody? Let me find my video here so I can see everybody's comments. Where am I? My computer is not showing. Anna and Lexi are here. Hello, girls. Glad you're here with me. Okay, here it is. I think I got it. Let me just mute myself. Okay, there we go. We're good. Okay, so STEM 101 we're here for. Don't forget, if you haven't already, sign up for STEM 102, which is going to be the second week in June. And we're going to be covering all kinds of flying objects. Abby is here. Hello, Abby. How are you? So we're going to do 3 little projects that you can totally do at home without my help in another time. It's all kind of like household materials, though I have provided most of them for you in this little kit. All you're going to need in addition to your kit is a pair of scissors and a little bit of water. So I have just a little bit of water in a cup here. And we're really just going to need that to dampen something a little bit. Hugh is here. Hey, Hugh, welcome back. Okay, so what we're going to do is I am going to point my camera down. We're going to unpack our kit, separate all of our supplies into all of the different experiments, and then we'll get started. All right, so let me point this down. See if that's close enough. Grab my chair here. Let's see, what do we see? Do we see enough? You see me. I think we're good. Oh yeah, you got a nice wide view of the table. Okay, so I got my cup of water and my scissors standing by. Let's unpack our kit. Hold on. That'll give you, all right, well, you'll have to ignore my tripod. Okay, so let's unpack this. You'll see we've got some little straws sticking up there. What do we have? What do we have? We've got some straws. We've got a paper towel. And we've got a cup that's got a bunch of other things in it. That should be it. Okay, so what's in our cup? A balloon, a paper clip, a hex nut, and some yarn. So all basic home supply things. Our cup, as you can see in this picture here, has got a little hole in the bottom of it. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is separate our supplies. The first project is screaming balloons. So all you need is the balloon and the hex nut. That is one project. The second project is a chicken talking cups. So that's when you need the cup, you'll need the paper towel, you'll need the paper clip, and you'll need the yarn. That's our second project. And our third project will be the straws. And that's what you will need your scissors for. Okay? So I'm going to put all of these aside and we're going to get started with this. Okay, now we are going to blow this balloon up, so it will need to be tied at some point. So you may need a grown-up's assistance to tie balloons. I know that can be a little bit of a challenge. But the first thing that we want to do is just take a look at this hex nut. So why is it called a hex nut? Well, it has 6 sides like a hexagon has. And if you look at the sides, you can see that they are flat on every side. And that is going to be an important part of our experiment. So we're going to take this hex nut and we're going to put it into this balloon, and we want to make sure that it goes all the way to the bottom of the balloon. So it may drop down there pretty easily, like mine did. You may have to just like wiggle it down a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to blow this up. Now you don't want to blow it up too big. If you overinflate it, it will pop easily. So we just want to blow it up a little bit and then tie it off. So I'm going to do that and I'll show you the size of it. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, so there you go. Like not tremendously big. And whoop, sneak peek, you can hear it running, the hex nut rolling around in there. So I'm going to tie this off. Now, before we do anything, I need you to listen to the instructions, and then we'll have fun, but when I stop, you have to stop so that you can hear what I'm saying, because then I want to explain to you the science behind this, okay? So we are going to hold the balloon at the tied end. We're going to hold it kind of like a bowling ball, so you can see it kind of stuck the tie end in between my fingers, and my palm is down. And we are going to move the balloon in a circular motion. Okay, so we're kind of gonna go like this with our hands. Move it in a circle. Doesn't matter if you go clockwise, counterclockwise, doesn't matter. What's gonna happen is the hex nut is going to start moving around in the balloon, and it's going to make a noise. Okay, now, one thing you have to know is you do not want to go too long or too fast, because it will pop your balloon. If you have another balloon at home, you can start over, but if you don't, then that's the end of your experiment, okay? So I'm gonna go like this, and you can hear it start to make noise. And when you stop, it does roll around a little bit more. Okay, let's try that again. And I'm gonna go the other way. Okay, so everybody give me a thumbs up emoji if you got it to make a noise like that. When you start, it might just like bump around a little bit, but then as you get the circular motion going, it starts to make that screaming noise that we talked about. And you find out which way works best for you, you know, the way your wrist goes. But give me a thumbs up emoji if you were able to get it to make that noise. Remember, not too long, not too fast, because it will heat up the balloon and it will pop. Now, how this works. Okay, so we have the science of motion and the science of sound going on. Okay, Anna and Lexi gave me a thumbs up. Awesome, so I know that it's working for you. So the science of motion, so we looked at our hex nut, right? And we saw that it had, that's the science of sound. The hex nut has 6 sides, and the sound is made by the flat edge rubbing along the outside of the balloon. Not just rubbing, but vibrating. So we know that vibrating is kind of like moving back and forth really fast without stopping. Like, you know, if you have a phone and you set it to vibrate, when it rings, it just like buzzes, right? So it's actually, the hex nut is actually vibrating against the side of the balloon on the inside as it goes around in a circle, and that is what is causing the sound. Now, what's causing the motion is a force called centripetal force, and that is just an inward force that's causing a circular path. So we're moving the hex nut around. We've got centripetal force moving it around, and then we've got vibration making the sound. Okay, so Hugh and Abby didn't give me a thumbs up. So does that mean that you can't get it to make the buzzing sound? Move it in a circle. All right, now I got a thumbs up from Hugh. Okay. So here is where I want to introduce you to the scientific method. Let me grab this here. Oh, good. It took a little bit, but you got it. Yep, you need to kind of just get the knack of it. And like I said, it will bounce around a little bit until you start to get that circular motion. Okay, so here is, it's backwards for you guys. I'm sorry. I could have printed it out and backwards so that it would look right to you, but pretend you could read backwards. So this is the scientific method, which is a procedure that is considered necessary for scientific investigation. It has some basic parts. It starts with questions, goes to hypothesis, then experiment, observation, measuring your data, and then a conclusion. So all of our experiments start with a question, like what would happen if, right? And then our hypothesis would be our answer to that question without really knowing anything. Like, I think this will happen. So then we conduct the experiments. We observe what happens during that experiment. We measure the results and the data compared to our hypothesis. And then our conclusion is our new answer to the question based on all of the new information that we've gathered. And so the reason why I want to talk to you about that is because in experimentation, there are a lot of things that come into play with the experiment, things called variables. Variables are things that can change. So for instance, our variables in this experiment are just the balloon and the nut, right? Those are the only two things that we are using to perform this experiment. So we know that, oh look, even I can't do it now, Hugh. See, you're not the only one. I think because I'm not, oh, there you go. So these two things in our experiment can change, such as what happens if we change the size of the balloon? What if we made the balloon smaller, or if we made it bigger? What if we change the size of the hex nut that we put inside? What if we used a marble instead, or a penny? So every time you change a variable, you only want to change one. And then you go through the whole scientific method again. So say, for instance, our question is going to be, what if we used a marble instead of the hex nut that's in there now? So our hypothesis would be, what would you say would happen? My guess would be it's not going to make as much noise. That would be my hypothesis. So then we would do the experiment again, changing only the hex nut variable to the marble. We would leave the balloon exactly the same. Do the experiment, observe what happens, compare or measure our data, and then come to a conclusion. Were we correct? Was our hypothesis right? Did it make less noise? Maybe it made more noise. We don't know until we perform the experiment. Now we can go back and change another variable maybe we'll go back to the hex nut, but then we'll change the balloon size. And then run the scientific method all over again. So there you have it, screaming balloons, all because of centripetal force and vibration. You may use the scientific method to experiment more at home. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to our screaming, or our chicken talker, our cup. All right, so we're gonna take out the cup and all of the supplies that we had with that. This is where we're going to need our water. I'm just gonna maybe leave that there for reference. Okay, so how do we do this? This is the only tricky part, really. We want to thread our string through this cup. Now, your hand might be small enough where you can get it in the cup. I'm gonna go from the outside in to try and get it in there a little bit better. So I am going to stick that in there, or try to anyway. Let's see if I can get it. Shove it in there. And then I have to get my hands down in there to pull it out. Okay, so there. I've got, oops, I almost spilled my water. I've got the yarn going through the hole and coming out the other side, okay? When everyone has their yarn threaded through, like mine, give me a thumbs up. I got thumbs up coming in. Excellent. I'm looking for one more. While I wait, let me tell you that there's only a couple more days left to do the passive program for the month of May, which was identifying all of the book characters that are in silhouette on the bulletin board here in the kids' room. I have something hopefully very exciting coming in June that will be outside. So we'll see. I'm still in the planning process with that. Okay, how are you doing, Abby? I didn't lose you, did I? So we are going to tie a knot on the string, and the end of the string that we want to tie a knot to is the part that's inside the cup. Okay, we don't want to tie a knot on this side that's coming out the bottom. We want to tie a knot that's going to go on the inside of the cup. Just like that. And we're going to, see, it's just a little tiny knot, but we're going to slip our paper clip in the knot that we just created. And if you have to make a second knot because you made it too tight and you can't get the paper clip in, that's okay. It's not going to affect the outcome of our experiment. So I've got the paper clip through the knot. And the only reason why we put the paper clip in the knot is so that when we pull the string out of the bottom of the cup, it catches the paper clip in there. That sun is an interesting angle tonight. The paper clip will stop the yarn from coming out of the hole. We want it to just hold it in there. Okay, now we're going to take our paper towel and we're going to moisten the paper towel. Just dampen it a little bit with water. We don't want it to be like fully wet, dripping, have to squeeze the water out. It's just going to be a little damp. So I have my cup of water here. I'm going to just dip this in there a little bit. Okay. And here's all you do. You hold the cup in one hand, you pinch the yarn in with the paper towel in the other hand, and you slide. Oops, I pulled mine out. You're gonna slide it down the cup. Now if you hear, it doesn't really make any noise, right? If I'm just sliding my paper towel, this was actually a happy accident. You don't really hear anything when I slide my paper towel down the yarn without it being in the cup. I have to stick mine in there. Maybe I shouldn't pull so hard, or maybe I should just make a bigger knot. Let me try again. Take two. My knot came untied, that's what happened. So, I'll make a double knot this time. Now, did yours stay tied? Did your cup make noise? Does it sound like a chicken? All right, I think this should work now. You hear that? So, what is the difference? I just did the same thing on the string without the cup, and you couldn't hear anything. Now, all of a sudden, it's clucking like a chicken. So, how does this work? Well, guess what? It's our friend vibration again. Did you know that sound moves through the air by vibrations? That's how we hear it in our ears. We hear the vibrations. So, your hand sliding across the string causes vibrations. And then that make the cup vibrate, right? Because the string is vibrating and the string is touching the cup. So then the vibrations move from the string into the cup, and the cup amplifies the sound. It makes it louder. Have you ever used a cup as a speaker? I have done this when I am, like, say, listening to music on my phone and I want it to play a little bit louder. I'll stick my phone in the cup with the speaker pointing towards the bottom of the cup, and it magically makes it louder. It's like a little megaphone or like a little traveling speaker. So the vibrations that you hear are the same vibrations that you would hear on the string without the cup. It's just that we can't hear it. It's not loud enough. But the cup makes it loud enough for us to hear. The same thing works the same way when you do the cup telephone. If you guys have never made a cup telephone, I highly recommend it. I'm sure you all have these plastic solo cups at home for all different kinds of gatherings and parties that you have at your house. Get a long piece of yarn and do the same thing that we did here with both cups. And then try and play cup telephone. Have someone hold the cup up to their ear while the other person on the other end speaks into the cup. And I bet you can hear it because the vibrations from your voice go into the cup, make the cup vibrate, make the string vibrate. The sound travels all the way down the string to the cup that would be on the other end, which makes that cup vibrate, which amplifies the sound, and then you can hear what the person is saying in your ear. It's a really fun trick. Okay, that's the end of that one. I know you guys are gonna have fun like all night because I just want to keep doing this. I think it's funny. You can even decorate this as a chicken if you want. Draw some eyeballs, draw a beak. You got stuff you can glue on it to make it look like feathers. The last thing that we're going to do is with these straws and scissors. Now, we only need one straw for the experiment, but I gave you 3 because I thought that we might want to play a little bit. You could do it more than once, basically. So the first thing that we're going to do is cut off the bendy part. By the way, did everyone get their chicken clucking? Give me a smile emoji this time if you got your chicken to cluck. We're gonna cut the bendy parts off of the straw. Okay, now we are going to, ooh, I got a smiley face from Anna and Lexi, excellent. We are going to flatten about 1 inch of the tip of the straw. Hugh has a question. Okay, Hugh, go right ahead. We're gonna flatten this. So it's like 2 fingers maybe for you. From there to the end, we're gonna flatten it. And one of the best ways to flatten it, you could try and squeeze it with your fingers, but it's better if you put it in between your teeth and press it down with your teeth. Ooh, I got a rainbow from Abby. I love rainbows. Okay, so I'm trying to flatten the straw with my mouth. Okay, what do you do after you get the paper clip tied and in? I was working on that and I didn't see. Okay, so you have it to this point, right? Your paper clip is through the knot in your yarn. You pull the yarn all the way through the bottom of the cup and the paper clip catches down there so that your yarn won't fall out. All you have to do is take your paper towel and wet it a little bit. Not sopping wet, just, in fact, you could probably see I even have some like dried parts here on my paper towel. You just need to wet it a little bit, and then you're going to pinch the yarn with the paper towel and slide it down. And you could do it like in a jerky movement. You don't have to do like one quick slide down. You could like jerk it down, 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 like that. Okay, so we have our straw flattened, right, with our teeth. Now, let's see. So you could see how mine's flattened. We're gonna cut off the corners. That sun is gonna be my nemesis. We're gonna cut off the corners like this. Oh, you got it, Hugh, good! We're gonna make it come into a point. So I'm gonna cut, see if I do it over the table, maybe you could see a little bit better. I'm gonna cut one corner off, and then I'm gonna cut the other corner off. And now it's pointed, okay? Now all you have to do is seal your lips around that pointed edge and blow until a sound is produced. Now, it might take you a little bit to get it. Yeah, even I'm having a hard time getting it. Now, I've done this before, so I know it works. We just have to get it to work. It's not working for me. Is it working for you guys? The concept is, again, vibration. Now, this is very much like a double reed on some woodwind instruments, like the oboe. And what happens is the vibration goes over the two pieces, like it flows, the air flows over that you're blowing, right? And it produces this sound that goes all the way down the column of air down the straw and produces a sound. Now, if you get it to work, you can try clipping little pieces, like a little bit there and a little bit there and a little bit there and a little bit there, and you will change the sound, the pitch of the sound coming out of your straw. I'm not sure why mine's not working all that great. Ooh, I almost got it. It did it a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay, so what I did was I opened it back up a little bit. It was too flat and no air was getting through. So I opened it up. Look at it, it's like talking to you. I opened it up and then I blew into it. Now watch what happens if I cut some of the bottom off as I'm blowing. It should be changing pitch. Do you hear it getting higher? Now, I'm going to make a second one, and I'm going to leave it at a different length than this one. Maybe I'll leave it a little bit longer, and then I'm going to make a third one, and I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. And maybe we'll be able to tell the difference better if I play them separately. Were you able to get it to make noise? Our musical straws? You could send me a music note if you were able to get it. Okay, I'm making the other one. Flatten it with my teeth. Cut the corners off. I'm gonna pop it back open a little bit. Okay. Now I'll make a third one. And I'm going to cut it shorter than the first one. So I got the first one, I got the long one, and now I'm going to have the short one. So the first one's kind of be like in the middle. Flattened it, cut the corners off, opened it up a little bit, and then I'm going to cut this one shorter than the first one. So I'm going to cut it up here. Are you noticing? Oh, Hugh got it. Awesome. You're playing musical straws. So, are you noticing the sound based on the length of the straw? I'll try it again. I'll do the small one. I'll do the middle one. And then I'll do the last one. So basically basically, by changing the length of the straw, the shorter it gets, the higher pitched the note is. The longer it is, the lower the note is. And this is basically the same as when you're playing an instrument and you're pressing the keys, the pads, the stops to change the airflow, which changes the notes. That's exactly what you're doing. You're either lengthening the column of air or you're shortening it. Okay, Abby got it. Anna and Lexi got it. Yay! We're all playing musical instruments now. I wonder if I hold them next to each other. Can I play all three at the same time? Let's try. I can. Alrighty, let me back my chair up. Let me bring up my camera so we can see ourselves one more time. So, remember, we have the screaming balloons. Centripetal force and vibration. We have our chicken talker. Vibrations and amplifying like a speaker, making it louder. And we have our musical straws. Let me get my other one. Oh wait, that's a piece I cut off. But they kind of sound like party horns. And there you have it. Okay, don't forget, next week is towel origami. You don't need anything from me. It's all your own supplies, towels, hand towels, washcloths. We're gonna fold them, make them look really cool and different animals. Ladybug, frog, am I gonna do a frog? No, fish, a heart, a pair of lips, and maybe an elephant. That will be the one that will be the most challenging. So we're gonna do that next week. Also, June 1st opens registration for summer reading. So I hope you guys are all planning to sign up and attend. We're gonna have a lot of fun. And I have another video coming this week to talk a little bit more about how summer reading works. That is all for me tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again real soon.